5 underrated Marvel villains who could destroy the Avengers. There's a lie the MCU accidentally taught fans, that Thanos was the most dangerous villain the Avengers ever faced. He wasn't. Not even close. Yes, he wiped out half the universe with a snap. Yes, he broke the Avengers. Yes, he won. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Half the universe came back. The damage was reversed. Time travel fixed it, which means by our metric, true, irreversible existential threat, Thanos isn't even number 1. Because 5 villains in the MCU came closer to ending everything permanently. Not cities, not planets, reality itself. And most fans barely remember them. One of these villains forced a hero to die thousands of times just to delay defeat. One literally rewrote the universe while the heroes stood helpless. One controlled the timeline before the Avengers were even born. Number 1 didn't need an army, didn't need a gauntlet, didn't need a single punch. The villain only needed to speak. And when we get there, you're going to realize something terrifying. The most dangerous villain in Marvel history wasn't a monster. It was someone the audience loved. Today, we are not ranking popularity. We are not ranking coolest fights. And we are definitely not ranking who had the best CGI army. We're ranking existential danger. Which villain caused damage the heroes could never truly undo? Which villain permanently altered reality? Which villain forced impossible sacrifices? Which villain came closest to total, irreversible collapse? That's the villainologist difference, because the scariest villains are never just strong. They change the rules of existence itself. And here's the twist most people miss. The most dangerous villain isn't always the one who wins. Sometimes it's the one who almost wins in a way nobody could have stopped. Now, brace yourself as we reveal exactly how each villain on our list could destroy the Avengers. Number 5. Dormammu. Dormammu isn't underrated because fans dislike him. He's underrated because fans don't understand what he actually was. Most MCU villains want something: power, control, revenge, resources. Dormammu wanted erasure, not conquest, absorption. That's worse, because conquest leaves survivors. Dormammu's dark dimension consumes identity itself. And the terrifying part? Nobody beat him. Let's say that again. Nobody beat him. Doctor Strange trapped him in an infinite loop because there was literally no other option. No weapon could stop him. No army could slow him down. No Avenger could overpower him. The only strategy available was psychological exhaustion. Strange had to die. Again, and again, and again. So how could Dormammu destroy the Avengers? Here's the secret. The Avengers would lose by existing. Dormammu destroys the Avengers by making their strengths meaningless. Think about the core Avengers strategy. Assemble powerful heroes, fight physically, protect Earth, win through sacrifice and teamwork. Dormammu invalidates all of that instantly. Why? Because he exists outside normal reality. You can't punch him. You can't trap him conventionally. You can't exhaust him. And most Avengers wouldn't even understand what they were fighting. Imagine, Iron Man launches every weapon he has. Nothing happens. Thor summons lightning. Meaningless. Hulk tries brute force. There is no body to hit. The psychological collapse happens immediately because the Avengers are built to fight enemies. Dormammu is a dimension. And here's the darkest part. The longer the fight continues, the more hopeless the Avengers become. Eventually, they realize there is no victory condition, only delay. That's why Doctor Strange had to weaponize suffering itself, not strength, suffering. The Avengers wouldn't lose because Dormammu kills them. They'd lose because reality itself stops functioning in a way they can comprehend. Quick question. What does it tell you that the only way to stop this villain was for the hero to die again and again and again? There was no winning, only enduring. And somehow, Dormammu is only number 5. Number 4. Hela. Hela may be the MCU's most psychologically dangerous villain, because unlike every other threat on this list, she was right. Not morally, not ethically, historically. Think about it. The heroes spent years treating Asgard like a noble kingdom, golden halls, wise kings, heroic warriors. Then Hela arrives and reveals the truth. Asgard was built through conquest, blood, mass slaughter, imperial expansion. And she wasn't invading the kingdom, she was the kingdom. That changes everything. Because suddenly the heroes aren't fighting an outside evil, they're fighting the violent history their civilization buried. That's what makes Hela terrifying. She weaponized truth. And physically, she was unstoppable. She shattered Mjolnir with one hand. Think about what that moment did to audiences psychologically. Marvel spent years teaching viewers that the hammer represented divine power, worthiness, legacy. Then Hela crushes it effortlessly. In one scene, Marvel tells us, the old rules don't matter anymore. And from there, she dominates every battle. Thor loses, Asgard falls, the army collapses. By the end of the film, the heroes realize something horrifying. They cannot save Asgard. The only way to stop Hela is to destroy the entire realm. Which means she achieved something almost no villain achieves. She forced the heroes to destroy their own civilization. So how could Hela destroy an entire team of Avengers? Here's the strategy. She would turn the Avengers against their own legacy. Hela destroys the Avengers politically before she destroys them physically. That's what makes her so dangerous. Most villains attack the team from outside. Hela attacks identity itself. Imagine Hela arriving on Earth and exposing every hidden truth about the Avengers. Tony Stark profited from global warfare. S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra. Asgard's greatness came from conquest. The Avengers repeatedly caused collateral destruction. Suddenly, the public turns. Governments panic. Heroes divide morally. And that's before the fighting starts. Because Hela understands something critical. The Avengers only function when people believe in them. Destroy the myth, and the team fractures. Then physically, it gets worse. Hela grows stronger through death and conflict, meaning every battle empowers her psychologically and literally. She'd likely kill secondary Avengers first to create despair. Hawkeye, Falcon, War Machine. Not because they're strongest, because morale matters. And once Thor falls, the symbolic center collapses. Hela doesn't just beat the Avengers, she proves their world was built on lies. That destroys them emotionally. Let's pause for a second, because here's what makes Hela uniquely terrifying. She wasn't an invader. She was the landlord coming to reclaim what was always hers. And once you realize that, Thor Ragnarok stops being a superhero movie and starts becoming a story about empires collapsing under the weight of their own hidden crimes. Number 3. Ego. Ego might secretly be the closest the MCU ever came to total universal extinction, and almost nobody talks about it. Because his plan didn't look dramatic. No giant battlefield, no snapping fingers, no alien invasion. Just plants, roots, light spreading across planets, but that's exactly why it's horrifying. Ego's expansion wasn't warfare. It was a rewrite of reality itself. Every planet touched by the expansion was being transformed into Ego. Not ruled by him, converted into him. Imagine every living being in existence overwritten by one consciousness. Every culture erased, every memory erased, every species erased. The universe becoming one giant celestial tumor. And here's the truly terrifying part. It had already started. By the climax of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Ego was winning. Planets were already changing, which means if the Guardians fail even briefly, the universe dies in minutes. Not centuries, not years, minutes. And unlike Thanos, Ego didn't need artifacts to do it. This was his natural state, pure, godlike biology. But here's why he's only number 3. Ego had a weakness: love. More specifically, his emotional connection to Star-Lord. His downfall wasn't strategic failure, it was emotional blindness. He underestimated human attachment. He couldn't comprehend sacrifice. And that weakness gave the heroes exactly one opening. So now you may be thinking, how could Ego defeat the Avengers? Well, the truth is, the Avengers wouldn't even realize they lost. This is what makes Ego terrifying. His victory condition is invisible. There's no invasion fleet, no giant battle warning, no speech broadcast across Earth. By the time the Avengers understand the threat, the expansion has already begun. Imagine cities suddenly mutating into living celestial matter. Entire populations absorbed into planetary nervous systems. Communication collapsing globally. And the Avengers? Scattered. Because Ego attacks every world simultaneously. That matters. The Avengers are reactive defenders. They specialize in concentrated threats. New York, Sokovia, Wakanda. But Ego transforms the entire battlefield into himself. There is nowhere safe to regroup, no headquarters, no fallback strategy. And psychologically, Ego breaks them through helplessness. Captain America is built on hope and leadership. How does leadership function when every planet is dying at once? Black Widow specializes in intelligence gathering. What intelligence matters when reality itself is biologically rewriting itself? Even worse, Ego only needs minutes, not years. That means the Avengers don't get a final stand. They get confusion, panic, then extinction. And the only reason the MCU survived at all? Because a son emotionally rejected his father. Not because the heroes outsmarted him. And before you say, obviously, I need you to hear why Ego is not number 1. Because the reason might surprise you. He had already won. The expansion had started. The only thing that stopped it was love. And that's exactly why he's not number 1. Because his plan had a heart-shaped weakness. The next 2 villains, they don't. Number 2, He Who Remains. He Who Remains may be the single most disturbing concept Marvel has ever introduced. Because he didn't conquer the Avengers, he authored them. Think about the implications. Every battle, every tragedy, every sacrifice, every victory, according to him, scripted, allowed, curated. The Avengers weren't defenders of free will, they were products of timeline management. That's horrifying. Because it transforms the entire MCU into a controlled experiment. And unlike villains obsessed with destruction, he who remains understood something deeper. Control is more powerful than violence. Why destroy reality when you can own causality itself? This man sat outside time watching infinite universes die. And the scariest part? He was the good version, or at least the least dangerous one. That's the real nightmare of Loki Season 1. The multiversal war was apparently so catastrophic that a dictator became the safest option. Read that again. The MCU literally tells us freedom may be more dangerous than tyranny. That's existential horror. And when Sylvie kills him, notice what happens. The timeline fractures instantly, meaning the barrier between order and infinite chaos was one man sitting at a desk. No armies, no explosions, just a bureaucrat holding reality together through fear and control. He defeats the Avengers because they were already his weapons. He who remains doesn't destroy the Avengers physically. He destroys the concept of free will. That's infinitely scarier. Imagine discovering every victory you earned was allowed, every sacrifice was predicted, every tragedy was useful to someone else. That revelation alone would psychologically devastate the team, especially heroes like Captain America, Spider-Man, Black Panther, heroes whose identities depend on moral agency. But strategically, he who remains is unbeatable because he controls causality itself. He doesn't fight the Avengers. He arranges timelines where they fail. Imagine, Tony dies younger. Thor never becomes worthy. Bruce Banner never controls Hulk. The Avengers never assemble. That's game over before the story begins. And here's the nightmare scenario. The Avengers could spend entire lifetimes believing they're resisting him, while every act of rebellion is still part of his design. That level of control destroys heroism itself, because the Avengers stop becoming saviors. They become programmed outcomes. And we're just getting to the good part, because number one is not who you think. He who remains controlled everything, but even he was afraid of one person. Someone powerful enough to break the multiverse emotionally. Not strategically, emotionally. So who is it? Who could possibly be the number one villain who could defeat the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes? Number 1. Scarlet Witch / Wanda Maximoff. Scarlet Witch is the most dangerous villain the MCU has ever created. Not because she's the strongest, because she's the most human. That's what makes her terrifying. Every villain before her feels distant. Cosmic gods, timeline dictators, celestial beings. Wanda feels real, grief-stricken, lonely, broken. Which means audiences lowered their guard. And then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness showed us what happens when emotional pain gains multiversal power. Wanda didn't just fight heroes. She rewrote reality around them. She invaded alternate universes, massacred entire teams, possessed versions of herself across dimensions, and hunted the only multiversal traveler alive like a horror movie monster. But here's the key distinction. Nobody actually stopped her. Not really. America Chavez survived because Wanda chose to stop. That matters, because it means the heroes never solved the problem. The villain solved herself. And if she hadn't, the multiverse collapses under an emotionally unstable Nexus being with infinite grief and chaos magic. Now let's talk about the line. The moment Marvel quietly revealed how terrifying she truly was. What mouth? 3 words. That's it. And instantly, a man loses his mouth. Panic erupts, reality changes, existence obeys emotion. No snap, no spellcasting ritual, no weapon, just intention. That scene terrified audiences because it exposed Wanda's true threat level. Reality itself had stopped resisting her. And this is the villainologist layer that matters most. The most dangerous villain is not the one you fear immediately. It's the one you trust first. Wanda represents corrupted empathy, a hero whose suffering becomes justification for annihilation. What makes Wanda dangerous is that she could destroy the Avengers without meaning to. Every other villain chooses destruction. Wanda causes destruction emotionally. That makes her unpredictable. And unpredictability is catastrophic when combined with reality-warping power. Think about the Avengers' greatest strength. They trust each other emotionally. Wanda weaponizes emotional connection better than any villain in Marvel history. She already proved it in Avengers: Age of Ultron when she mentally shattered the team with hallucinations. Now imagine that power amplified to multiversal levels. She doesn't need to kill the Avengers directly. She can rewrite memories, alter identity, remove powers, collapse physics, trap heroes inside false realities. And the horrifying part? Most Avengers wouldn't attack her at full force because they love her. That hesitation kills them. Imagine, Doctor Strange refuses lethal force because he thinks Wanda can be saved. Too late. Vision hesitates emotionally. Too late. Hawkeye tries talking her down. Too late. That's why Wanda is uniquely terrifying. She destroys the Avengers by corrupting compassion itself. And if she fully lost emotional control, the Avengers wouldn't die as heroes. They'd disappear as memories. Because Wanda's true power isn't energy projection. It's making reality agree with her pain. So here's the terrifying part about all of these villains. Most of them didn't need to physically overpower the Avengers to win. They attacked the one weakness every version of the Avengers has always had: dependence on systems, teamwork, identity, trust, reality itself. Some of these villains could destroy the Avengers in a single afternoon. Others would break them so completely they'd never recover. And in almost every case, the Avengers would lose before the final battle even started. So let's rank them one more time. Number 5, Dormammu, the cosmic eraser. Number 4, Hela, the embodiment of a civilization's sins. Number 3, Ego, the living extinction event. Number 2, He Who Remains, the author of reality itself. And number 1, Scarlet Witch, the hero who became a multiversal nightmare. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these villains came closest to truly ending everything? And did we underrate them because they weren't flashy enough? Drop your ranking in the comments. And if you're new here, this is Villainologist. We don't just rank villains, we dissect them. Subscribe, because the deeper you look at these stories, the more terrifying they become.